In the quiet snow-dusted expanse of Charmsville, a small seemingly unremarkable Finnish village, a cosmic event sets off a chain reaction of human drama questioning faith, ambition and the very definition of a miracle. Little Siberia unfurls a darkly comedic and profoundly poignant narrative centered around Joel, a former peacekeeper haunted by a past injury that has left him unable to father children. His life with his spirited wife Krista, a dance instructor whose vitality contrasts with Joel's inner turmoil, is thrown into disarray when she announces an impossible pregnancy. The arrival of a meteorite, a celestial body worth €1 million, becomes the catalyst for both hope and greed in Charmsville. For Pastor Matthias, a man grappling with his own wavering faith, the meteorite represents a potential sign from God. For Joel, it's a desperate chance to find answers and perhaps even a literal miracle. However, the meteorite also attracts the attention of various eccentric villagers, including the ambitious gym owner Reistainen and the down-on-his-luck rally driver Tarvainen, each seeing in the space rock a solution to their earthly woes. As Joel is drawn into guarding the meteorite, a web of deceit, misunderstanding and unexpected betrayals begins to unravel, forcing him to confront his deepest fears and the true meaning of fatherhood, faith and forgiveness in a world where divine intervention and human desperation collide. The film opens with a lively boy hurrying to meet his girl. They share a sweet moment, holding hands with a twinkle in their eyes as a beautiful summer night unfolds around them. Suddenly, a distant explosion rocks the calm and its impact seems to resonate with the boy. The narrative then jumps through vast stretches of time, from billions of years earlier to millions then years and finally days leading up to the present. The scene shifts to Charmsville, where a woman complains about her numb arm and hair while someone else suggests finding anything harder for an unknown purpose, perhaps to prevent swimmers from escaping. A miraculous moment is referenced and then a sign from your boss before a plea to get some sleep. The theme of babies is introduced, described as small miracles, with a grim prediction that the world's population will reach 11.9 billion, leading to a swarm of babies instead of grasshoppers. This sparks a discussion about God's plan, pandemics and melting polar ice caps, raising concerns about humanity's impending destruction. A pastor, Matthias, reassures someone that the Lord works in mysterious ways and thanks them for the conversation. Perko, another character, offers Matthias fresh coffee and mentions a meteorite that fell from the sky, eliciting a sarcastic remark about where meteorites usually fall from. Matthias, however, takes it seriously, linking it to God. The meteorite is rumored to be worth millions and there's talk of leftover buns. The villagers are nuts about it, with a whimsical theory that it might be from a planet where inhabitants were eating chocolate eggs on Easter and jumping on the trampoline before it exploded. Later, Matthias visits Little Siberia, where it's bitterly cold. He confronts Reistainen and another man about a moose in their car, which Reistainen humorously claims was depressed and suicidal. They discuss the meteorite, which is scheduled for evaluation in London in 5 days. Matthias expresses concern that someone has been sneaking around the museum and asks Joel, a former soldier, for help guarding it, emphasizing that the rock is the future of the village and will bring money from tourists worldwide. A village meeting is held where entrepreneurs gather. The election is over and the focus is on how to profit from the meteorite. A dispute arises over ownership, with one person claiming it fell into their car and they own the land where it landed. The pastor clarifies that no one owns celestial bodies. A meteorite drawing contest is announced as a way to engage the community and eventually build a monument. The scene shifts to a tender moment between Joel and his wife, where she reveals her pregnancy. This news comes as a shock to Joel, who, due to a past injury as a peacekeeper, was told he couldn't have children. He confides in a doctor about his past injury, which affected his testicles and his inability to have children. The doctor's examination is comically awkward, confirming the prior diagnosis that Joel cannot have biological children, but he mentions miracles do happen. Joel's wife teaches a dance class, and Perko, initially described as a fundamentalist with a spotless office, is revealed to have been dancing at a party at Joel's house while he was away, raising Joel's suspicions. Joel decides to help guard the meteorite for 4 nights, leading to a slight disagreement with his wife about dancing while pregnant. She insists on driving due to the icy conditions, but Joel encourages her to walk for good exercise. At the museum, Joel encounters Tarvainen, who has been trying for a decade to get a monument erected and now wants it to be for the meteorite. Joel questions a police officer, Hutta, about a grenade found at the museum, implying it was used in a robbery attempt involving the meteorite. The officer confirms there was only one body in the car, despite Joel's suspicion of multiple culprits. Joel's wife expresses concern about his lack of sleep and bleeding head, urging him not to go to work in such a state. The conversation then turns to the Yellowstone caldera, a supervolcano whose eruption would cause a nuclear winter and ice age, highlighting the fragility of life. The pastor offers a glimmer of hope, stating one can always practice hope. Joel confronts the pastor, expressing his disillusionment with God and the pastor's perceived lack of faith compared to the villagers. Joel, having moved to Charmsville years ago and being deeply embedded in the community, claims to know everyone. He seeks the pastor's help confidentially to find a specific perfume with notes of nutmeg and lemon, a detail that seems oddly placed given the existential conversations preceding it. Tarvainen, the man who wants the meteorite, confides in the pastor about his co-driver's death and how the meteorite felt like a second chance to clear his debts and start fresh. He feels he deserves that meteorite. The pastor responds, what we deserve and what we get are 2 different things, suggesting that perhaps God is testing them. He then muses on the fundamental question of whether the universe is a precisely engineered machine or a random collection of coincidences. Joel receives a call from Dr. Aziz Delay, confirming that he cannot have biological children as his sperm don't swim. Joel sends a text message from a spare phone to Krista saying, I miss you. Can we meet up? I'll wait for you at the old mine at timed. The message is sent, but then Joel seemingly regrets it. Meanwhile, a character who has been sniffing around without anyone noticing calls Matthias, mentioning a book called Past Scents and describing a pungent, slightly seductive scent with notes of nutmeg and lemon. Matthias cuts the call short when his wife Krista calls, claiming she twisted her ankle at the mine and needs to be picked up. Joel's wife asks him about the bank robber incident and his injuries. The film ends with a sense of lingering mystery and unresolved personal and communal tensions. The film continues with the pastor Matthias arriving at a bar for a post-workout beer, much to the surprise of Joel, who expects him to be guarding the museum. Matthias dismisses Joel, telling him that Rolla Karate Man can handle the night shift. Inside the bar, drawings for the Meteorite monument contest are being collected. Matthias orders chicken breast while another man asks for thigh, a subtle nod to the ongoing suggestive banter. Matthias attempts to sing I Miss You Day and Night, showcasing his longing. Joel learns that the museum break-in involved a grenade, but the €1 million meteorite was left untouched, leading him to sarcastically call the place Dummy Hill. He questions the accuracy of Charmsville's name, suggesting it's far from charming. Matthias and Joel engage in a theological discussion about Jesus walking on water, with Matthias humorously claiming he was busy that day. Joel also asks Matthias about Krista, Matthias's wife, implying she frequents the bar and enjoys drinks, further fueling Joel's suspicions. The next morning, Joel, clearly sleep-deprived, attempts to report what he believes happened at the museum, describing a giant figure and a struggle. The police officer Hedda is skeptical, noting Joel's disheveled state and the smell of alcohol. Hedda chastises Matthias for his drinking and lack of sleep, highlighting the financial constraints of the police department and their inability to pursue Joel's far-fetched claims. Back at Joel's home, Matthias delivers groceries that Krista requested, sparking more suspicion from Joel about Krista's activities and relationship with Matthias. Matthias makes an awkward departure, forgetting his coat, and Joel remains suspicious. At the meteorite drawing contest display, Joel confronts Matthias and they play a game of questions. Joel asks why Matthias is guarding the meteorite instead of being home, hinting that Matthias might be hiding. Matthias returns the question, asking if Joel is hiding. Joel then inquires about the giant-like guy he encountered. The conversation is interrupted by Carolina, who orders coffee, vodka, and a sausage, further establishing the unconventional atmosphere of Charmsville. A message is left for Joel to stay away from the museum. Joel then confronts Krista, who is angry and feels tricked, accusing him of lying about his infertility and deliberately leading her into the woods where she twisted her ankle. She reveals her pregnancy, which shocks Joel, as he believed he couldn't have children. Krista, devastated by his deception, tells him to leave. Joel then encounters Tarvainen, who is desperate to claim the meteorite, believing it's his chance to turn his life around and honor his deceased co-driver Solovey. Tarvainen recounts a tragic rally accident where Solovey died, expressing immense guilt. Joel tries to comfort him, quoting Matthew, "For if you forgive others their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you." Later, Joel receives a call from Dr. DeLay, who confirms that Joel cannot have biological children, calling it a miracle if he ever does. Tarvainen, still fixated on the meteorite, has another encounter with Joel. He reveals that his co-driver Solovey, whose catchphrase was rally or death, would want him to have the meteorite. Joel's phone receives a text message, "I have Krista now. Bring the rock to the gym. K." This implies Carolina is involved in Krista's disappearance. Joel returns to the museum where he's ambushed. Carolina, the woman from the bar, is revealed to be the true culprit. She instructs Joel to smash the meteorite's display case, making it look like a break-in, but her plan is to frame Joel. She exposes Joel's fingerprints on the broken case and takes the meteorite. Petter, the giant-like guy Joel encountered earlier, is also present. Tarvainen, seemingly having followed Joel, bursts in, attempting to reclaim the meteorite with a gun that malfunctions. He reiterates his belief that Solovey gave him the meteorite, referencing the rally accident again and his desire to honor his co-driver. Joel, still reeling from Krista's disappearance, presses Tarvainen for information about her. Joel receives another text message from Kay, confirming Krista's abduction and instructing him to bring the rock to the gym. He confronts Tarvainen, who in a moment of panic confesses to kidnapping Krista and framing Joel. He reveals he did it because his gym was going bankrupt. At the gym, a tense standoff ensues. Carolina threatens to shoot Krista if Joel doesn't hand over the meteorite. Joel, desperate, offers to exchange the meteorite for Krista. In a moment of desperation, Joel declares his love for Krista, confessing his admiration for her dancing and pirouettes. Krista, having heard his heartfelt plea, emerges from behind a screen, seemingly unharmed. Joel rushes to her, confirming her and the baby's well-being. He calls the baby "my miracle." The film concludes with Matthias, the pastor, on paternity leave, proudly talking about his son's love for cars. He then confides in Joel about his experience with Tinder, describing a fiery woman with an insatiable scent, a stark contrast to his earlier reserved demeanor. He even reveals he's had a vasectomy, suggesting a radical shift in his life. Matthias then mentions taking up diving. The film ends with Matthias and his child preparing to go for a swim, leaving Joel to ponder the true nature of miracles, faith, and the unexpected twists of life. If you enjoy watching this video, then subscribe to Angel Recaps for the latest movies explanation.